What's your take on Burberry? That's a nice one. To be honest, I'm actually very disappointed by the brand. Burberry is one of, if not the, most successful and most striking British fashion brands and has had a reputation for elegance and British understatement for decades. In recent years, however, the brand unfortunately completely abandoned its classic line and has now also fallen victim to street style, which simply goes completely against the brand's actual DNA. Instead of understatement, as it once was, we are now dealing with aggressive branding in the style of off-white, chunky sneakers and crossbody bags. Burberry has been swallowed by the hype beasts and I find that extremely sad. Nevertheless, there are products that will never be changed, such as the Kensington trench coat. This is the original design of the trench coat invented by Thomas Burberry. But guys, $2.5 grand for a trench coat that has immensely declined in quality over the last years is absolutely crazy. Go with Macintosh or Grenfell and you'll get a much better product with insane quality. Sorry guys, but Burberry is highly disappointing its once lifelong supporters.
The journey for Burberry, one of the most iconic luxury fashion brands in the world, known for its signature trench coats, plaid pattern and British heritage, has been anything but smooth. Over the years, Burberry has faced numerous highs and lows, ranging from brand revitalizations to near market saturation. This video explores Burberry's evolution, challenges, and how it continues to redefine itself in the ever-changing world of fashion.
Break down the history of Burberry's rebrands. Founded in 1856, Burberry redefined British outwear with this iconic trench coat. However, in the late 1990s, Burberry encountered an image crisis, and it began to experience a decline in its luxury standing. They responded by doing a pivotal rebrand, shifting to a more refined and contemporary image. They also began using the checkered pattern in a more subtle and sparing way. 20 years later, they rebranded to this. Initially, I was a big fan of its bold and disruptive nature, but it sparked what has been called the Serif Wars, and its once unique identity became ubiquitous among its competitors. Fast forward to 2023 and Burberry flipped the script once again, reverting to its iconic horseman crest. This return to the classic emblem was a masterstroke, showcasing the ability of Burberry to pivot against the tide of industry norms.
When I was younger, I loved Burberry. It was my favorite brand. I even wore Burberry Brit, the perfume. I had Burberry bags, I had Burberry scarves, polos. I still own a lot of the items I used to wear because I'm a hoarder. But I noticed over the years that Burberry was kind of fading into the background. Riccardo Tisci came along and they had that extreme revamp that I wasn't a huge fan of. It didn't really fit into my personal style as it wasn't classic. It was very nouveau riche and not really my style. I love Riccardo Tisci. I should preface this. I love Riccardo Tisci and I think his work at Givenchy was masterful. I even own a few of the pieces from when he was the creative director at Givenchy. So it's got nothing to do with him. I think it was an overall decision by the company to go in a very modern direction to try and innovate and appeal to younger audiences that just didn't align with me. I now am seeing things like this. The website is a lot less aggressively like streetwear, and I'm so relieved.
Despite its success, Burberry faced a major challenge in the mid-2000s: brand dilution. The iconic Burberry check pattern, once a symbol of exclusivity, became widely counterfeited and overused, appearing on everything from umbrellas to dog accessories. This excessive commercialization led to a loss of prestige as the brand became associated with lower tier markets and even British chav culture. Additionally, aggressive licensing deals contributed to the brand's overexposure. Products featuring the Burberry check were no longer limited to luxury boutiques but were widely available, reducing their aspirational appeal. This misstep damaged Burberry's luxury status, forcing the company to recalibrate its strategy.
The story of Burberry is really illustrative of this. Burberry was a very exclusive brand in the UK, had that distinctive brown tartan check stuff. It suddenly became kind of affordable luxury. People couldn't afford the raincoats because they were too expensive, but they would buy anything with a little brown tartan pattern on it. And Burberry decided to retool and make Burberry luxury available to as many people as possible. And they pumped out a whole bunch of stuff and suddenly everybody was wearing Burberry. There's a famous photograph of a girl who was an actress in a British soap, kind of a Days of Their Lives type soap. pushing her Burberry pram with her Burberry baseball cap and her Burberry raincoat and Burberry leggings and her baby wearing a Burberry, outfit. And that was it, gone, just poof. And everything about that luxury brand had jumped the shark and had become a laughing stock. And it became a sign of, naffness, as we call it in the UK. It's not luxury anymore. This idea that luxury is deserved by everybody. When you start seeing that become every day, it's no longer scarce. It's no longer luxurious.
Why is absolutely no one talking about Burberry anymore? And when I mean no one except the celebrities, reporters, and influencers that are being paid for it. It is absolutely insane to me how a brand that was so sought after, so revered, so popular can just fall off like that. Burberry had a bit of a revival in the mid-2010s when more and more people were starting to wear their scarves again, and more people were also talking about purchasing their trench coats and also actually styling them and wearing them a lot. Even back then I noticed that no one was interested in any of the new stuff that they were doing. And I guess Burberry noticed this as well. However, what they ended up doing is not really what I would have done. Instead of leaning more so into their classics, which by the mid-2010s were still selling very well and were also gaining in popularity, they actually decided to rebrand entirely. And I guess they hoped that this facelift of the brand would introduce the brand to new people and to younger people and just increase interest in the brand. I kind of think the opposite happened.
Recognizing the need for change, Burberry took bold steps to reclaim its high fashion status. Under the leadership of Marco Gobbetti and Riccardo Tisci, the brand underwent a creative overhaul. The focus shifted back to exclusivity, with a more refined approach to branding and product design. Tisci introduced a new logo and monogram, giving Burberry a modern edge while staying true to its heritage. Limited edition collections, innovative fashion shows, and strategic collaborations, such as those with Supreme and Gosha Rubchinskiy, helped Burberry reconnect with younger, trend-conscious audiences. Moreover, Burberry became a leader in sustainability, committing to eliminating wasteful practices and launching eco-friendly initiatives. These efforts resonated with modern consumers, further revitalizing the brand's image.
Burberry Resort looks hot, not gonna lie. I think Daniel Lee has finally found his stride at the brand, and his attempts to play on the Burberry iconic plaid is actually working. I mean, this jacket's done. For a minute, it felt like we weren't gonna see him lean on these British classics like tweeds, but I'm happy to see it return, especially in this multi-pattern version. But I also think that the mono motif moment also is very much so working. I'm also quite happy to see him working with this tactility, which is something that he really was doing heavily at Bottega when he was there. And yes, this jacket does look like curly pasta, but I think that's fine. I also feel like we're getting this 2000s British vibe. There's just something about the length of the skirt and the stockings, which might be having a comeback in general pop culture. I also am intrigued by this rocking horse bag. I like the fact that the closure actually makes up a B, but it's not super in your face. But I'm also confused how it works. So Burberry, release the video, please. Lee also said he wanted to make sure that the clothing was wearable, because the brand's high prices have most definitely been a talking point for people around the world. And while I don't have the money for it, I'm certainly convinced it would work on me. So what do you think?
Is Burberry failing because they don't want working class people wearing their clothes? The irony is, working class people built Burberry. In the 1960s, 1 in 5 coats exported from Britain was a Burberry product. Their trench coats were functional, long-wearing, and parts of everyday life. Burberry even designed uniforms during the World War. But now they've rebranded into ultra luxury, pricing themselves alongside the Row and Bottega Veneta, brands with the decades of exclusivity and high-end luxury craftsmanship. Burberry doesn't have the same luxury heritage, yet they still expect consumers to buy in. And guess what? They're not. Sales are tanking. The brand that once thrived on necessity and accessibility is now struggling to justify its place in the high fashion world. But I think that Burberry can reclaim its spotlight if they come down to earth just a little bit and reconnect with the people who made it iconic in the first place. Should Burberry keep marketing themselves to ultra luxury consumers or go back to their homegrown British roots? What do you think? Follow In The Fashion Focus for more fashion commentary and analysis like this.
As part of its strategy to reinforce its luxury positioning, Burberry has significantly increased its prices in recent years. The cost of its iconic trench coats, handbags, and accessories has surged, aligning the brand with top-tier competitors like Chanel and Louis Vuitton. This pricing strategy is a deliberate move to maintain exclusivity and attract high net worth consumers. While this shift has bolstered Burberry's perception as a true luxury brand, it has also alienated some loyal customers who previously viewed it as an attainable premium brand. The challenge lies in striking a balance between exclusivity and accessibility, ensuring that Burberry remains desirable without becoming unattainable for a significant portion of its audience.
Designer brands are suffering. A lot of stores lay empty. Burberry share price is down 50%. Louis Vuitton is down 20% all in the past year. Some brands are doing really well, like Hermes and a few others, but the majority of the designer brand market continues to fall globally as people look to spend more money on other things such as travel, and as the cost of living crisis grips major economies around the world, luxury brands which charge obviously a premium on clothing, shoes, etc. are making less sales.
We absolutely have to talk about this. If you are unaware, recently a lot of execs for brands such as Burberry, Michael Kors and Mulberry have admitted that their price hikes were a big mistake. The current CEO of Burberry, Josh Schulman, said that the brand went too far in its effort to reposition as a top luxury name, particularly in leather goods where it is less credible. Now, 4 months ago, I talked about this on an almost 3-hour-long live stream on YouTube. Definitely check it out. I review every single Daniel Lee collection at Burberry and talk about why the pricing strategy of Burberry made absolutely no sense. Initially, when the former CEO of Burberry hired Daniel Lee, it seemed as though he wanted Daniel Lee to make Burberry the new Bottega, but you can't just do that. Bottega is not Burberry, Burberry is not Bottega. They have a completely different customer base, and historically they're known for charging two different price points. I do not understand why they thought that it would work trying to charge Bottega prices at Burberry and hiking prices. Like, the prices went up overnight. They didn't even give us slow grind to the high prices. It kind of just jumped overnight after his first runway show, and I was like, this makes absolutely no sense.
This fashion week, Burberry showed how clever and successful marketing can still go terribly wrong. Burberry renamed the iconic London Bond Street into Burberry Street for the whole fashion week, plastering the whole area with Burberry branding. So this advertising technique is called ambient advertising. That's when you place unexpected ads in out-of-home locations to surprise your consumer. In the underground, London transport workers reported numerous complaints from disoriented tourists, some of them even missing their flight home because Bond Street was on tube line that goes to the Heathrow airport. We tried asking Burberry how much was this campaign. They declined to comment. Our estimate is maybe north of £1 million.
Burberry continues to navigate the complexities of maintaining its heritage while staying relevant in an increasingly competitive luxury market. The brand's recent embrace of digital fashion, celebrity-driven marketing, and sustainability efforts have positioned it as a forward-thinking player in the industry. However, challenges remain. With fast fashion and emerging luxury competitors on the rise, Burberry must continue innovating to stay ahead. Finding the right balance between accessibility and exclusivity will be key to its sustained success.
Who is Burberry's manufacturer and how much does it really cost them to make their clothes? I got you, Juan, follow me. Okay, so Burberry uses almost every fabric in the book when it comes to their clothing, from cotton to wool and everything in between. They also use a lot of blends within blends.
What do you mean by that?
Here's an example in one of their signature pieces. For this coat, the outside is 80% wool, 20% polyamide. The trim is 100% cotton, and the pocket lining is polyester. So with all that said, Burberry is manufactured by, well, a few different people. For their iconic trench coat and such, it is made by Matsumaru, based out of Japan. But the majority of their clothing comes from Liang, based out of Donggun City, or Textile del Valle, based out of Peru. And these guys work with brands like Lacoste, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, and many more. Now, how much does it really cost Burberry to make their clothing? Their trench coat is at least $380. Now, garments like these is what they're known for. So, that's why they're able to charge you $600 to $1,000 for a t-shirt, when in reality, it costs them $15, no more than $20 to make.
Despite efforts to maintain its luxury image, Burberry has faced declining sales in recent years, leading to an increase in markdowns and excessive discounting. While discounting helps clear unsold inventory and boost short-term revenue, it also risks diluting the brand's exclusivity. Customers may begin to associate Burberry with frequent sales rather than luxury, which can damage long-term brand perception. Burberry's challenge is to strike a delicate balance, ensuring profitability without over-relying on discounts that could harm its high-end appeal. To counteract this, the brand has focused on improving supply chain efficiency, limiting excess stock, and carefully managing seasonal sales events.
I bought 20K's worth of clothes in the Burberry sample sale so you don't have to. I'm gonna tell you now, this was so worth it. Where's the packaging? First we got this blue Burberry knit, and this one was 220 quid. I mean, I think this is a decent little start. Next we got this purple fur jacket, and this one is crazy. You lot actually deep in this. This retails for about 8k and I only paid £600. This will make me the ultimate fur coat boss. Also wouldn't be a Burberry haul without the signature trench coat. I mean, this is just a good everyday essential coat, isn't it? I think we're 3 for 3 right now. Oh, and that one was like 300 quid. Now for the one I'm most excited about, and it's gotta be this pair of denim, because these look absolutely sensational. It's even got a suede back tab on the back. Now at this point I realised that my mic broke, but I'm gonna have to get these ones tailored because they're too clean, man. These ones were only £90 as well. We also picked up this beautiful belt for only £70, this beautiful green shirt as well, and just a standard one in beige. Can't go wrong with the everyday essentials. But for me, the best pickup from this haul has to be this one, because just look how beautiful this bag is. But this is everything I picked up from the Burberry sample set, and of course if there's anything that you guys want or you want me to style, then let me know. But I personally think this was quite a success. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Let's go to the Burberry shop at Bicester Village. The trench coats were literally 40% off. They had so many different colours as well. At the minute, they have so many different sales, like so many different discounts. I even found a rail, it's in the video at the end, that was 50% off. This coat was around £300 and this hoodie was around £200. Which, for a Burberry, I don't think is that bad. They also had that hoodie in the white as well. I'm absolutely loving this, but they didn't have my size, which was a shame. Ryan also really liked these shoes to me. I think they're a really, really nice colour. They weren't a bad price as well. I think they were around £200. But these ones, OMG, shut the front door. They were £300, but they are so nice. And these boots are literally me. But there's so many rails. Like this coat, you're not going to believe this, was literally less than £300. And then there was even a rail, guys, with extra 50% off. I'm obsessed with this top. Like, it's such a nice spring colour and 50% off is an absolute bargain. So don't miss out. Get down there for the sale.
Big Smoke.
Hello, how you doing today?
Yeah, we see the fit.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You see, look, any show that I'm going to, they're sending me the mad fits, but I'm picking the most.
Okay.
I'm picking the most dad fits that they could ever imagine.
You got it on, brother. You got it on.
Look, you didn't even know Burberry made any then coats like this.
Damn.
Walk on.
Hold on, what does Burberry mean to you as a culture?
London, real quintessential London.
Yes, sir. I mean, we see you soon, man.
So.
Describe your fit.
Burberry London, man, you get me SK hollered at me, said, Chip, and we gotta go represent for Haringey some days.
Damn, yes, sir.
Burberry's journey is a testament to the delicate nature of luxury branding. From pioneering outerwear to battling overexposure and then reclaiming its status, Burberry has shown resilience and adaptability. As the fashion industry evolves, Burberry's ability to embrace change while preserving its rich heritage will determine whether it remains an icon or faces another downturn in the years to come.